Good evening, everybody. My name is Scott Brusling. I'm a member of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Corvallis. We are a welcoming congregation, so I will say that we are delighted that you're here tonight for this debate. And the proposition that Gregg and Jon Perry will be discussing is science has demonstrated the theory of evolution to be true. I want to give an outline of the type of debate that we're undertaking. It is not a Harvard-style debate. We're not asking for a winner and loser at the end. We're hoping that if we're successful, that we'll continue with a dialogue, and that we get a chance that both sides get their best opportunity to present what they believe to be true. It's often that congregations get stonewalled and become an echo chamber, and this is one of the events that we try to break out of our own little ivory towers. So thanks for coming. As an introduction, I want to present the interlocutors tonight. We have Gregg, a Christian radio host, heard on K-Will from 2 to 3. And Dan said that the best way to introduce him is as Dana's husband. I do want to say that his material is available, I thought just on podcast, but you can hear it live as well, live streaming from your website, which is the narrowpath.com. Again, narrowpath.com. And again, any questions about that, we'd be happy to discuss that and make references at the end of the evening. Jon Perry is an artist and animator. John, why don't you stand up so people can start? Well, you're sitting soon enough, I guess. Is an artist and animator who uses art to teach science. He's done illustration and animation work for OSU for the professors to use in their lectures. He's currently working with NASA and the National Science Foundation, helping them communicate new discoveries in biology and chemistry to the general public through animation. John's the founder of Stated Clearly, an animation group that teaches biology through short, information-rich animations. His focus is on genetics and evolution. The videos are free to watch at statedclearly.com and on YouTube. Jon is pro-evolution. He is here tonight to defend the proposition science has demonstrated the theory of evolution to be true, and Steve will present a counter-argument. We will have 5 minutes of intro from Jon and 5 from Steve, and then they'll each get 15 minutes to present a little bit more at length, and then another 15 minutes, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll have them do some rebuttal, and then I hope that we'll carve out some time. I intend to carve out some time for discussion. That's why I'm here. So let me turn it over for 5 minutes from Jon. Thanks.
Okay, I'm very happy to be here tonight. I'm not here to preach atheism or agnosticism. I'm not here to tell anybody that their faith is silly or anything like that. I'm here to talk about science, and particularly how science has demonstrated the theory of evolution to be true. Normally in science we don't use the word truth because, philosophically speaking, you can't actually know anything with certainty. Bertrand Russell once pointed out, we may have all come into existence just 5 minutes ago, provided with ready-made memories with holes in our socks and with hair that needed cutting. Right? It's possible. We'd never know the difference. But even though philosophically speaking, nothing can ultimately be demonstrated to be true, realistically speaking, in practical everyday language, things can be true. We know, for example, that the flu is caused by a virus. We know that earthquakes are caused by shifting tectonic plates. We know that nuclear fusion is what powers the sun. We know these things through science. And just like we know those things, we know that all life on Earth is related. We all come from a common ancestor. Humans and butterflies, if you go back far enough, share a common ancestor. When we look at the fossil record, we see life develop gradually over time. We see one kind of animal develop into another kind of animal. Archaeopteryx here is one example of that. Reptile bird. 3.5 billion years ago is when life first starts to show up on Earth. And early life was just bacterial. 600 million years ago, we start to see the first multi-celled organisms. Roughly 500 million years ago, simple fish-like chordates emerge, along with a great diversity of other organisms. 416 million years ago, we start to see bony fish. They're followed by fish with legs, which would actually exit the water. And after that, we see amphibians, and then reptile-like creatures. The early amniotes, the early reptiles, split into two main groups. One gives rise to birds, dinosaurs, snakes, and lizards. The other one gives rise to creatures that are more and more and more like mammals, until finally, 205 million years ago, we see the first mammals appearing in the fossil record. Science and religion have been at odds from time to time, and particularly around the theory of evolution. But this is starting to change because the evidence for evolution is so overwhelming. The Catholic Church has now accepted the theory of evolution. The Mormon Church is now allowing people to accept it. They don't have an official stance on evolution. And now we're starting to see Bible-based Christians, organizations like BioLogos cropping up, and they are helping Christians accept the theory of evolution while also maintaining their faith in Jesus Christ. The leaders of the young earth creationist movement would have you believe that there's only two options. You can either believe in God or you can believe in evolution. That's not true. There are people out there who are accepting both. This is not an either-or situation. If you want to maintain your Christian faith, you do not have to reject evolution. 78 million Christians now, according to recent polls, accept the theory of evolution, and that number is growing, and I hope to see that number continue to grow. I'm excited to show you some more of the evidence here in a few minutes.
All right, I have 5 minutes to introduce what I'm here to say. First of all, I'm not here to defend young earth creationism. I'm not sure that I wouldn't be a young earth creationist. I may lean that way myself. I don't have a strong opinion about it. In my opinion, I think the Bible's record would probably incline toward a young earth, but there are, as John mentioned, many millions of Christians who believe that the Bible can be reconciled with evolution. I have not been persuaded of this, but I'm not opposed to it in theory. As far as I'm concerned, a literalist approach to the Bible is not called for in every case. There are things in the Bible that are not literal. If Genesis 1 turned out to be one of those things, it wouldn't threaten my faith at all, just like it apparently doesn't threaten the faith of 78 million Christians who've reached that conclusion. My objections to evolution would not be based on my interpretation of the Bible per se, since I could, like many others, harmonize the Bible with evolution. My concern is more on the scientific level. The proposition we're discussing tonight is whether science has proven evolution to be true. We're not debating, at least I'm not interested in debating what the Pope may think or the Mormons may think, or even what the Bible may say about evolution. I'm interested in the question we're debating, which is, has science proven evolution to be true or not? We hear that it has, but we have to define our terms. What is science? What do we mean by evolution? What do we mean by proof? And these are the issues that in the short time we have here, I'll be wanting to discuss. I'm not here to prove that evolution is not true. I'm not a believer in evolution, but I'm an open-minded person. I believe in going wherever the evidence requires. And I think Christians should be of that mindset. If the evidence truly proves evolution, Christians should believe in it. And as I said, the Bible can be understood in terms of evolution. At least many Christians believe that's true, and I'm not interested in fighting with them over that. What I would suggest is that if we talk about scientific proof, evolution has not been proven in the sense that plate tectonics has been proven, or nuclear fission has been proven, or most other scientific theories have been proven. Evolution is a framework into which evidence can be placed, and that evidence can be seen to be supportive of that framework if you have a certain set of presuppositions when you begin. those who do not have those same presuppositions are quite capable of seeing the evidence as pointing in another direction. We have to realize that facts do not speak for themselves. Facts have to be interpreted, and they are always interpreted through a pre-existing framework. Mainstream science has a framework of philosophical naturalism. As all scientists will say, unless they happen to be Christians, and there are Christians who are scientists who wouldn't say this, but that we need to have a naturalistic explanation of all things, including the origin of all things. Why? Well, because that's the only kind of thing that science can study. Science only studies nature. If there is a supernatural origin of anything, science can't study it, and therefore it is, by definition, off bounds for consideration. If science can't study it, then we're not allowed to believe it. Now, I believe that there are things that science cannot study that could be true. There are areas in the realm of human behavior that science cannot explain. There are things that are metaphysical, I believe. There are things that do not belong to the physical world, and that science is not in a position really to discuss those or to pronounce upon them. So I'm going to be talking about why I believe that science has not yet proven that evolution is true. If science ever succeeds in doing so, I will not resist it. But I'm as interested in truth as I can be. I simply don't believe that science is the only place for which we learn truth. I believe there's realms of philosophy, there's realms of revelation, there's lots of different areas that are not part of science for which truth can be known. And so I'm going to that's my introductory statement. I'll be looking forward to seeing what kind of evidence is presented as proof of evolution. I've certainly read from, I think, the best advocates of evolution what they think the evidence is, and John will probably present the best of that, I hope. But that's enough for an introduction. Thank you for your time.